Okay, we are we are underway. What's going on, guys? Let me just chuck this in a couple of Facebook groups and we'll be underway. Hope you guys are well out there. Shorty's going to struggle his way through this one. We'll do our best. But tell you what, it's been a bit rough. Shorty's feeling a little worse for wear, I will admit. Not good. Give me one tick, guys. Cool. Let's rock and roll, hey? What's going on? Gonna forgive you for or please forgive me if I sound like absolute trash. If I just start to cough at some random stage. Burn the candle at both ends, guys. It was a great trip up in Melbourne. It was awesome fun. Then I had a housewarming Saturday, and it just sent me over the edge. Couldn't handle it. Sure, he's getting old these days. I'm sucking on a soother right now. Jesus. So I'm not sure we'll be getting stuck into like 2 hours of Q&A. I'll just see how much. I should have done it tomorrow, but last night I was like, I reckon just get a good sleep into you, and you'll be right. But woke up like absolute shit. Had a cough. It's just trash. Actually took a day off TAFE, which I haven't missed a day yet. So that's where I'm at. But let's get stuck into it. I can already see you guys jumping in, getting involved. So much appreciated. There's plenty going on. I will say off the top, I always preference holding on to these premiums. I always think, we've been doing 2 to 3 months of research. Why get rid of a premium after just one poor score? There were a few of those, particularly down back. But nonetheless, let's get stuck into it. Junior, hey, mate, how are you? He says, hey, mate, isn't it great to have footy back? It is. It was fantastic. 3 games. I was stoked. The roar of the crowd is something I've missed so much, which maybe that's partly why my voice is so cooked, but it was awesome. Nicky, hey, mate. What's going on, my friend? My son's won too. Had a blinder. How good. Yeah, he was fantastic, mate. Him and Raul in that midfield. Gee, it's going to be pretty damn impressive, I think. Justin, hey, mate. How you going? Global Sports Card Investor, g'day there, champ. Hey, mate. What's going on? Hope you're well. Jono, how's things, my friend? Craig's jumped in. What's going on, Craig? Good to have you on board. Hopefully, when I got around to your comment there in the Q&A sesh the other day, hopefully that answered one of your questions, but feel free to chuck any more at me. Ali Van Dam, what are your thoughts on Steele and Chris? Wait till round 2 to decide if we trade them down. Thanks for the question, Ali. Look, I think this is going to be something I'll sound like a broken record by the end of the night, but definitely hold on to him. 100%, particularly Jack Steele. That was one below par night. It wasn't even a bad night. 84, it's not his best, but he'll respond. Tough night for the Saints. And Chris, look, I'll be really interested to see. It's hard when you're at the game to get a gauge as to where a guy's lining up and why he didn't play well. He got his running game going late, but just didn't find much of the ball. That was his lowest score since round 12, 2020. So you pick him for consistency, and then round 1 he dishes that up. Very disappointing. But to answer your question, hold fire. Hold fire. I'll be holding on to him, and I hope you do too. Trades are still important. They are. Jackson, hey, Shorty, news Walsh is coming back Thursday. I hope not. As a Blues man, don't rush him back. Yeah, look, probably no reason to absolutely rush him back. I mean, insane recovery, isn't it? And, gee, the midfield looked amazing. It'll be so intriguing to see how he fits in. Like, obviously, he fits in easy, but just adds another one to that midfield group, which looked so damn good. They tore the Tigers apart, particularly late. Jono, any changes for Shorty this week? No changes for me this week unless there's something unexpected in the teams. I think main issues are Crisp and Ridley were a bit disappointing. Obviously, Whitfield was a bit disappointing. I didn't see that game, so it's tough to get a read as to why he was a bit down. But I know we've got 35 trades now, guys, but just with the isolation and stuff, you never know when we're going to need them. And I still think they're really important. I'm not going to just go trading willy-nilly. I'm taking the same approach as I have in other years because you just never know when luck goes against you. It all seems fine and dandy when we got 30-something trades at the start of the year, but you burn a few early, then it gets midway late in the year and you're like, shit, don't have as many trades as I maybe wanted at this point in the year. So still treat them with plenty of respect. Junior, be honest, how many trade combos have you done? I'm at about 6. We'll undo and decide when teams come out. Now, hand on heart, mate, I haven't. It's, look, honestly, it wasn't an amazing week for me. Obviously chopping and changing Dixon and Hayes, throughout the lead up and went the wrong way. That was disappointing. Didn't have Martin on the field. That was disappointing. I mean, it's rookie lotto. That's often what decides a lot of rankings early is obviously there's always a couple of premiums that are a bit down. If you can miss those, that's great. And then the rookies, if you can get a couple of good scores on the field, that can separate you. And I missed that. But honestly, I was pretty pleased with the first week. I think some premiums will respond and pretty happy with how the team's looking. So I always think if you can get through the first week or two injury-free, it's fine. So far, I mean, yeah, George Hewitt, definitely a strong consider. James Sicily looked great. So they're things I think about, but I think about it more realistically after round 2. Dylan Clark, Shorty, hope you're going well. Likewise, mate. Hope you're travelling nicely. My man, the Lizard, was restricted to 98 because the ball went to him for most of the match. Get him in. Yeah, he was good, mate. He was good. I saw bits and pieces of that, and it looked like it was the role that you would have liked to see. So you would have been pleased. I picked him up in a draft league, mate. So while I didn't have the balls to pick him in your old classic, I definitely took your advice and launched on him in a little draft session. So I was pleased to see the Lizard just waltz around, and a bit of respect shown, obviously, with the ball. So, no, you've been all over him, mate. You've been the Nick Blakey fanboy for a long time. I've been the Isaac Heaney fanboy. And like I said, he'll explode when I'm not on him. And he did exactly that, just like Petrarca did. But I was stoked to see Heaney go so well. You guys well know how much of a fan and how much belief I have in him. Just didn't fit the structure that I went with in the end. And Butters, who was the only other guy I was considering in replace for him, went really well too. But I was rapt to see Heaney go so well. It was awesome. Jono, haircut time. Got COVID, he says. Nah, mate. No, look, haircut potentially. Got an engagement party this week, so don't know. Do you go the haircuts? Often risky doing it 3 or 4 days out. You want that haircut to land. No COVID, mate. We're all good. Just run down. Just run down. I sometimes... Oh, yeah. My own worst enemy sometimes, mate. Just Saturday, I knew I needed to have a quiet one, but just really wanted to get to this event. It was a great night, but when I was in the cab coming home at 4:30 in the morning, I knew I was fucked. I knew I was gone. And then work was long, and Monday, geez, guys, I was struggling. I was struggling. Hopefully tomorrow's a bit better. Global sports card investor, what's the good word? The good word, mate, is just chill. Just chill, relax, run yourself a nice bath, jump in there, chuck a couple of salts in there, chuck a bath bomb in there, and just relax. Steer clear of the trade button, guys. Let's steer clear. Up to 50 already, race the bat. Nice little half century. Good stuff, guys. I think I'm I'm really enjoying these live sessions. If you got any insight on what's better, Tuesday or Wednesday, I haven't really settled on what is better or not. 8 o'clock, 8:30, when's footy training, rah, rah, rah. If you got any insight, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Frank, hey, mate, what's going on? Hey, Shorty. 2,317 points for old Frank. Nice. Crisp and Steele let me down. No, that's a good start to the year, though, mate. Wasn't it a crazy round one? Such big scores. I think stick with them, mate. Stick with them. Obviously, it's ideal to miss those sort of guys that start slow. Like, there'll be people who don't have Crisp and Steele and be thinking, look, maybe I can pick them up early, a bit cheaper. But don't lose faith just yet. We might need to reconsider if they have another down one this week. Not for Steele. I got massive faith in him, but let's just wait and see. Panto. Hey, Shorty, hope you're feeling better, mate. Thoughts on Tom Green if he plays well in the next couple of weeks? Yeah, thanks, mate. Look, we're getting there. I appreciate your kind words. Hope you're going well too, my friend. I've been a big fan of Tom Green over the journey. He's just always looked like it's been a matter of time. I think I started him maybe 2 years ago. There was a lot of people were sort of thinking he'd go kind of Clayton Oliver vibes, and I think is his third year or something like that. Didn't quite pan out, but this could be the year. So I probably wouldn't. I'd need a pretty solid body of work to just launch at him. But at the moment, he looks super impressive, and he's always, how there's just some guys that you just think they're going to be SuperCoach relevant at some stage, and he's always been that guy. So this could be the year. I can't say I'm going to pull the trigger early on him because there's always a bit of risk. Is it a hot start or has he arrived? If you got a lot of confidence that it's the latter and that he's arrived, then he could be a nice little steal. Global Sports Card Investor, you got the Rona. I've had it before, my friend. No, I don't think so, but let's hope not, hey? No, should be fine. I've definitely felt it coming on. Just in the hotel room, just had a pretty average sleep up in Melbourne and stinker of a sleep Saturday night, so Spooky Mookie, 23-23. Very nice. Hayes, Martin on the bench. Feel like I peaked early, like I do in bed. Oh, shit. Don't make me laugh, man. I can't hack it today. How you feeling about this week, mate? Oh, yeah, just trying to wake up with a clear head, get rid of the cough and but SuperCoach wise, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Feeling all right. I think we'll build into a bit better of a week this week, and after round 2 is really when it all happens for me. I think that's when we can, make a decent assessment on what we need to do. So, nice start there, mate. Nice start. Travis, score of 2,406, top 2,500. Only real player I'm worried about is Owens, but could be a captain loophole. Houston is on my watch list. Nice, mate. Nice. That's a great start. Well done. And yeah, I think that's a fantastic position to be in after round 1. You should be bloody happy with that. That's nice work. Joe, Father Shorty has returned. Hey, mate, how are you? You're a funny man. Thank you. Good to have you on board. Appreciate it every time. I've really been loving the input. Plenty of subs coming through, plenty of comments. I've been trying to get back to the comments, so thanks to everyone who put in a little comment on my my first press conference of the year. Got the footy tips video coming out on Wednesday night. So, good stuff. Travis, same as Spooky. Gee, we got some issues in the bedroom here at the Shorty SuperCoach community. Oh, well. It's all right. You can work through those. It's all about confidence, Global Sports Card Investor. Who are you rage trading? No one, mate. No one. We're cool as a cucumber, mate. Like I said, I've run a bath. I've been meditating. Just, real sort of Reiki kind of picking the energy, just, plucking all the negative energy out of Shorty's life. No, I'm just talking absolute bullshit. Of course, I've been a bit pissed off about a few players. But no rage trades this week. I have faith in my boys. You spend 3 months thinking about them. So I'm not going to cut them off 1 week. And let's face it, a lot of these guys that didn't have as good a week as we'd like, they're 20 points off a score that's okay. It's not a disaster, there wasn't any drama in their position. Just a bit of a flat week. So I'm happy to give them the chance to redeem. And that's what I mentioned to a lot of you guys through the comments. Give them a chance to redeem. If Crisps comes out and scores 72 this week, okay, maybe that's time to go, shit. Maybe something's up there. Maybe I'm better off pocketing some cash, going down sort of thing to someone else. So no one just yet, mate. No one just yet. Nikki, I'm going to save my trades, I think. Trading premiums early on will only cost you in the long run. As I have Steele, I'm keeping him as he will be fine. I totally agree, mate. Totally agree. I'm right there with you. I'll be doing the exact same thing. And that's, look, like I said, I'll sound like a broken record by the end of this, but definitely that is my mantra after round one. If you get away with it, no injuries, fantastic. That's great. And, I think just assess it after round two. Craig, with all the questions, mate, you may need some sponsors. Now, I know, shit, any sponsors out there, boys? I'll give you a little shout out. It's good. Gotta love the Q&A. Gotta love it. It's I'm glad I started doing it last year, and we've come a long way, haven't we? We've got a crystal clear sort of video going on. We got the mic just really happening quite nicely. God, sure, his technology's come a long way since the days of me just recording a little podcast on my phone. Come a long way. Junior, thoughts on deconning Cats? No, it's only 1 week, but before the knock, was he any good? Yeah, honestly, he was. He was. I don't reckon he touched the ball in the third quarter. So I don't know for a fact, but I feel like those 35, 36 points that he scored were first half. I think he was going to a solid 65, 70 kind of score. He actually showed some nice confident signs. I think he comes straight back in that Cats lineup after the knock. You just got to hope that there's no lingering concussion concerns, and that's something we just can't tell at the moment. So we're going to have to wait and see. But I thought he did look good. And as a Cats man, I think he's really important to our side. With Henderson not there anymore, I think he's really important. So he'll miss this week, obviously, but then I expect him to be back in. Excuse me. Max Walsh, hey, mate, how are you? Hey, Shorty, you reckon Mitch Owens gets dropped this week? Look, without knowing the Saints lineup inside out, I think it's a chance. I mean, he's clearly a fringe player who didn't have the greatest of debuts, and there were some amazing debuts on the weekend, and his wasn't one of them. But we can't have too high of a standard. I say be touch and go. I always reckon it's a bit rough to drop a guy after 1 week. I would say he'd be in and out of the Saints side for most of the year, unless he can really put in a good performance. I think probably when Billings and Hunter Clark are more ready, then he'd definitely be on the chopping block. But we'll have to wait and see for those all-important teams on the Thursday. Sorry, guys. I'll hang in there. Craig, only trading injured players. I like it, mate. That's good. I agree. Hold on to them trades. They're still important. Panto, who's the keeper and who's the most vulnerable? Crisp, Ridley, and Whitfield. Probably, I genuinely think they're all keepers. I mean, they're all in my team. I maybe feel like, no, I don't know. Who's the most vulnerable? Maybe Ridley, but I don't know, mate. I honestly have real good confidence. I think all three of those guys, unless there's some sort of niggle that we don't know about at the moment, I think they'll all score 100 this week and they'll be back. So I think we'll know who's a bit more vulnerable by what they put out on the weekend. So it's hard to say because, in my opinion, none of them are too vulnerable at the moment. So we'll just have to watch this space, mate. Watch this space. Global sports card investor Crispy Calamari Cockroach is on the chopping block. Yeah, he's not too happy with old Crispy. One of the most consistent players last year, and he comes out and gives us that trash. Come on, man. He barely went under 85 last year. Gives us that first up. Come on, Crispy. James, hey mate, how are you? Who's head to chop out of Krabby Crisp, Ridley, or Shitfield? Oh boy, these blokes are in the firing line, aren't they? They are in the absolute firing line. Got sucked to him, got sucked into him even last minute. Anyway, Berry should go as well. Shoulder looks dodgy as. I was never too keen on Berry. I think there's definitely a lot of risk. Well, not a lot of risk, but a guy at that price, it's just a touch awkward. Excuse me. So, yeah, I think at the moment, like I said with the fella before, I still got a lot of confidence in those guys. So let's just wait and see. But I think it's just important to assess what they do this coming week, and then we can make a more informed call because they're all good players. They had a poor week. Essendon had a shocker of a day. I don't really know about Whitfield. Crisp, it was hard to get a vibe at the game. I'm looking forward to seeing when we see the little stats for, centre bounce attendance and kick-ins and that type of thing. So that always helps to paint a bit of a picture. But the biggest picture that'll be painted will be next week. So we'll know a lot more about who we're chopping this time next week. Jono says, check out that link, Shorty. Which link would that be? I don't see a link, my friend. But if you want to send it through. Alexander, where did you finish overall last year? Oh, mate, it was a shocker. It was a shocker. I had a howler of a year. I think it was might have been 28,000th or something. It was shocking. A year to forget for me. Had some stinker calls with Jordan Clark, Hayden Young. Started with Jordan DeGoey. Jai Caldwell got injured. Sam Draper. I probably put in a bit too much risk, too mid-price. So that's, tried to kind of go a bit safer guns and rookie style. So let's see if we can bounce back this year. D-Mac, who would you drop out of Hoff, Dixon, and Ward? Need to drop one for Martin. It'd be Dixon for mine. Definitely wouldn't be Ward. I think it wasn't his greatest day on the weekend, but he's a talented youngster. He'll be better for the run. Hoff, I think, sounded like he got enough of the ball, but didn't always use it great from what I could sort of hear on the radio. And Dixon, definitely of all three, I think has the lowest scoring output, just by the nature of being a young key forward. So I would say Dixon, mate. Ben Williamson, thoughts on Tom Green? Do you see a 105 to 110 average? I think it's very possible. Like I said, one fella asked this earlier. I'm a massive fan of him. He's got that inside ball winning ability, and he added goals to his game on the weekend too. So I was able to pick him up in one of my draft leagues. Very stoked with that. In terms of going with him in Classic, look, it's just he wouldn't be the first one I'd sort of look to go at. I mean, there's always that temptation because, he represents some value at the moment. But I'm always wary of guys like, have they started hot or are they here to stay? And I think Tom Green's more likely to stay because he's sort of a gun that we've always expected to come on and be a gun. So I think he's probably here to stay, and I could see an average there. But it would be a gutsy call to go out and grab him. So I can't say I'll be doing that early on, but he could well have a really nice year. Thanks to everyone who's jumped on board. We got 60 going, which is great. So and great to see some of your familiar names floating through too. And thanks to there's a few fellas who said g'day at the MCG and Marvel. So if you're out there watching, thanks very much. I always appreciate when you guys say g'day when I see you out and about at the footy or out there having a drink and that type of thing. So, yeah, it's always a bit of fun. So it's good to have a chat to a few of you fellas and meet a few of the people that sort of make this channel what it is. So, yeah, thanks very much. Riley O'Neill, hey, Shorty, somehow some randoms joined my private SuperCoach league with some mates. Is there a way I can kick them? No. I don't think you can, mate. No, I don't think you can at this stage. There was definitely an option to boot people out as an admin before the start of the season, but it might be locked in now that the year has started. So, unfortunately, that might be one to dive deep into the Herald Sun terms and conditions. But from my knowledge, I think it's locked and loaded, unfortunately, mate. Frank, to me, Chris looked lost on Friday night. Yeah, which is unusual. I mean, you wouldn't expect him to be, would you? You'd think he'd be fine. He's such a experienced player. There was a bit of difference in the way Collingwood set up with, Pendlebury, Nick Dacos, even DeGoey, more consistent in there as well. So I think he'll respond, like I've said a few times, but he definitely could cop a bit of a chopping block attack if he doesn't. Barnes, do you think Ridley bounces back? Red flags, he was sent forward in the fourth quarter. Wasn't that a disaster, mate? When I saw that, I was like, what the fuck's going on here? What are you trying to achieve for that? What is that going to do? The bloke's all Australian down back. Throw some other prick forward. Come on. I was worried when I saw that. I think he only had one touch and like an effective handball when he went forward. So that's another thing. I reckon if you could almost take that 68 or whatever he scored as 3/4 of footy. So I think he busts out an 85 pretty easy if they don't fling him forward. But to answer your question, I think he does bounce back. Look, Ridley's a guy that I've never had enormous faith in, and this is what happened, right? Jake Lloyd wasn't named, and I was like, shit, what am I going to do? Do I just go Tom Stewart? And then I was like, no, maybe I'll beef up the forward line a bit and go down to Ridley and up to Will Brodie, which, look, time will tell as to whether that works or not, but was very disappointed. But it was a howler of a day for the Dons. Aside from Nick Martin, I don't think much went well. So let's see how he goes this week. Georgios, hey, mate, how you going? Any recommendations on how to deal with COVID? Well, it would seem not. But nah. Look, honestly, I had it, might have been early January. Not too much fun. Knocked me about a little bit for a couple of days, but nah, rest up, mate. Just rest up. Knock back the waters. Too many Malibus and pineapple juices for Shorty over the weekend. That'll get you. What are you doing for captains this week, says Jono. Haven't actually looked at it, mate, but I think definitely Jack McRae has to come into the thick of it, given he's on the Thursday. You might even say maybe Cripps could be an option these days, But I think just looking at it now, the D's, look, I think McRae would be a front runner. You've got Miller's up against a really tough D's midfield, but, always goes well. All your usual suspects, to be honest. I don't think I'll have a emergency or captaincy loophole for the little vice captain. But if I do, it'll definitely be on McRae. He's as consistent as hell. I might even just stick with him. Straight out captain on the Thursday. AO Upbeat. How you going, mate? Yeah, good. How are you? Going nicely. Thanks for jumping on board. One of the regular lads. So good to have him involved. And I've somehow just scrolled all the way to the bottom. How to manage that? Global Sports Card Investor. Thoughts on Luke McDonald as a potential defender premium for around 370. He's in the midfield. Yeah, notice this. And in one of my other leagues, did a little draft waiver for him. So I think he came over to my side in one of my draft leagues, which was good. But yeah, massive numbers. You look back to that year where he did average premium numbers, didn't he? I think it was about 8 intercept marks, plenty of kicks. So he looked great. I think there's merit in that call. I won't be doing it. I'd probably be more inclined to go a George Hewitt or something like that. What is pretty likely is that he'll get dual position status after round 6. So that could be something. I know you're kind of preempting it there. So that's something to think about, mate. He's probably not someone I'd pull the trigger on. I feel like that's just potentially a touch risky, but if we're going off what the weekend was, which is just one game, we shouldn't judge too much off one game, but he did look great. Amusement Productions, Daniela, how are you going on this fine Tuesday evening? I'm well, mate. How are you? Would you rather being called Danny by everyone for the rest of your life or not start Matthew Jesus Rowell in SuperCoach? Well, luckily I did get Rowell into the team eventually, so I avoided that one. Look, I think I'd just have to cop Danny. I think I'd have to cop it, mate, because you got to have Raul. You just got to. I was slow to the party, and then the young fella just comes out and pumps a 150. Gets cleaned up in the process, still goes out his best on ground. He's a star, isn't he, mate? So, no, you got to respect what he's doing. I was slow to the party, but he was great. Junior Witt's rumoured. Oh, Witt's rumoured to be in doubt, as in Whitfield. Jesus, really? If true, would you go to Doc or another? God, that's frustrating. Let's have a look. Yeah, where'd you hear that one, mate? Because I must admit, in one of my inboxes, I did see a little potential groin issue from Whitfield, which would just be a kick in the dick. You know, that'd be very disappointing. What's he priced at? 500. You'd be tempted to go George Hewitt, James Sicily. It probably depends if you want to try and get some cash from elsewhere, or if you're happy to just sideways trade or slightly up. Doherty did look amazing, and what a great moment that was. I was pumped to be there to see that moment. That was an awesome moment when he slotted that goal. But yeah, I'd be more inclined to maybe, if you need some cash, then go in that direction, or maybe you can just go up to a Jaden Short or something like that. But George Hewitt did look mighty impressive. How much does that change when Walsh comes back in the side? I don't think much, but it has to affect him a smidgen. Nicky, trading Ward after one game will be a mistake. He could come really good and make 200K. That's it, mate. You know, I think it was only the week before that he had 29 touches, showed us all the reasons as to why he was pick 7 or something, was he? So, you know, he's going to be a really good player, and it wasn't his best day on the weekend, and we can't all kick 5 and have 27 in our first game. So some players, it's a slower burn. I still think he'll be good, mate. So I totally agree with you. And Global Sports Card Investors back again. Who are your must-haves this year? Yeah, I mean, look, probably no real surprises. I mean, look, the forward line, I think Dunkley. I think Duncan will be a must-have when he gets going. Taranto, Butters, Gordon Grundy, Steele, Miller, McRae, Oliver. You know, they're all must-have guys. I think Neil at that price must-have. And then down back, I think Jaden Short. Tommy Stewart's a guy we're going to have. You know, those types of players. I think they're just the premiums too. I think we all know the rookies that you got to have, and a few of them showed themselves on the weekend too, didn't they? Adrian, how are you, mate? What's going on? What's he got to say? I missed that one. Trashed. It requires pre-planning to make one before you go out, so when you get home, you can snap it. Then when you get up... Oh, you're talking about, yeah, right on with you. And when you get up at night, or have a sec, yeah, right out. Bit of a hangover advice. What else did he say? Try it and check back in a couple of months. I will, mate. I will, because it's been a couple of tough days, mate. You know, I might have to take your advice on board, my friend. This is a name. Vasilios. Should I stick with Steele? I don't have Cripps. Yeah, stick with Steele, mate. Look, if you don't have Cripps, I certainly wouldn't be trading out Jack Steele just to get him in. I feel like Cripps went great, but it's important to not get FOMO after round one. You know, don't go chasing guys that you didn't have, because you got to talk to yourself last week. You got to say, look, this is the squad I'm going with. If the first week it doesn't happen perfectly for me, that's all right. I spent 3 months thinking about this squad. Let's not make like rash changes off 1 week of a sample. If it happens twice, all right, you know, we can probably start to think about it, because price is about to change. It gets a bit more urgent. But I think at this stage, let's just stay strong. Nate, thoughts on Luke Foley? Scored 98 playing for West Coast off halfback, 244K. Excuse me. Probably not, mate. I think obviously a guy that might be benefiting from a bit more opportunity, but I think that's probably just a score that's probably not going to be a consistent scorer. And 244 probably like, all credit to him. I hope he goes well, but it's probably not cheap enough to downgrade to. So I just think you'd be better off, unless there's some real dire circumstances in your team. I think you might be just better off waiting to see what else happens. And when we downgrade, we really want it to be under 200K at worst. So, probably not, mate. But he might be a promising player that the Eagles can uncover because they'll need to. Dill Clark, I'm on Swans, man. Yes, the Swans, man, of course. Heaney, top 10 player in the league this year. Think he did a similar thing with track in 2020. Heaney will average 115. Yeah, 100%, mate. I was all over Petrarca. Once upon a time, I started Petrarca in the forward line, didn't fire. And then, we saw what he's done since. And similar with Heaney. I think one of my first videos this preseason was backing in our mate Isaac Heaney. So I've got a lot wrong over the years, but I think I've led that fan club, and he finally delivered. So that was great to see him. Good mix of mid-time, forward time. You would have been happy, mate, as a Swans man. Tyler, how unlucky was Radder not to get 140? Unbelievable. Oh, so brutal, mate. All he got was a big wrap-around fist from Sammy Draper, too. That was brutal. Savage stuff. But he took a nice clunk, Radder. Didn't do too much else, mate, but that 140's just around the corner, I think. D-Mac, best defenders under 400K, excluding Hewitt. Just to watch this week for if I have to turf McInerney. Yeah, just McInerney was probably an example of guy that just didn't work out on that first week. But like I've said, let's see what he can do week 2. I can hear Dill just saying. Nick Blakey, probably a guy that you should keep under your hat. But otherwise, I don't think there's too many. So I think you probably might be best just to, if he doesn't respond, I'm guessing you already have Hewitt, but that's why it's awkward. That's why those guys have that element of risk, because if it doesn't work out, it can leave you in an awkward position. So I would say just wait and see what this week does. It might be a matter of just assessing whether it's McInerney to his teammate Blakey, or maybe you might just have to bite the bullet and say, shit, I might have to trade out someone else, depending how your team's going, to find some extra coin to do something else. But let's hope he just responds, because I must admit that from what I've seen so far, probably not Stacks sticking their head out in that back line under that. And leads us in nicely with Ross. McInerney, trade, he says. Question mark. No, just I think these guys deserve 2 weeks, mate. Wasn't his finest day, but let's give him another week. So that'd be my advice. Let's see what this weekend brings us. Let's sit back down this time next week, 2-week sample size, and we can give it a bit more of an idea. So, Zach, how you going, mate? Hope you're well. Just heard you mention Steele. Sorry, wrong end of the discussion. That's all right, mate. Don't worry. Do you think he's carrying something looks like the Dusty of 2-3 years ago? Does Hewitt's role change when Walsh comes back in? Thanks for the question, mate. Hard to say whether he's carrying anything. I find it really difficult to assess that. He was a smidgen off. I don't think he was miles off it. So hold the faith. I'm sure he'll respond this week. It does worry me when guys start like that, because you always wonder, like, is there just a slight niggle, like we saw with Cripps the other year, like we saw with Neil the other year, and you mentioned Dusty. So let's just wait and see. I don't think Hewitt's role changes drastically. I would think Matt Kennedy is always the guy that seems to suffer and get moved to a half-forward flank. I don't know why. He was great the other day. It just always seems to be the way. Voss has been big on the fact that Hewitt's got a big role to play in the midfield, particularly to help Cripps and Chera and Walsh. He's that defensively minded midfielder. So I think his role won't change too much. I feel like Matt Kennedy might be the one that suffers just ever so slightly. On Tyler continues on. Also, what do you think of Holmes? Played well for us, but don't know if he'll keep his spot. I reckon they're a fan of him, but you're right. It's probably tough to keep the spot. You've got quite a few guys coming back, but he tackles hard, doesn't he? And he looks like he's a likely type, and they definitely gave him plenty of opportunity last year. And again, this year he's getting a few chances. So he may well be in and out of the side, mate, just because there is a fair bit of depth and it's a strong midfield. But I personally think he's more likely out of all the young cats to get opportunity. Jonas, Shorty, Wits versus Gorn this week. After Wits goes large again, will you be training Gorn down to him? I actually didn't see his score. He must have gone well. Let's have a little bit of a look. Crikey. What did he do? Oh, holy shit, 131. That's impressive. No, I won't be trading Gorn to Wits. That'll just be a little bit of FOMO. I mean, look, I'm quite comfortable with the Gorn-Grundy combination. Gorn gave away 6 frees or something, 5 or 6 frees. So I think I saw a stat. I think he lost about 20 points. And honestly, Tim English was pretty good. Gorn just didn't look like he was in his best form. He built into the game, kicked that goal. I think if all things are equal, he scores 105, 110. It's not a disaster. He just kept pushing English in the back, didn't he? So no, I won't be trading down to Wits, even though he was very impressive. Joey scored 22-38, but missed Hayes and Martin. I had them in my team, then shifted them out late. Was spewing on. No, mate. That's disappointing. Look, those things hurt, mate, but you can get them in, mate. It's all right. You'll be able to get them either this week, next week, whatever it might be. Short-term pain, but you'll still get the long-term gains from it when you get them in. Freak Show, what a name. Good to see some scoring bench warmers this year, but making it hard who to field. Some better than the primos. Yeah, I know, mate. Crazy, isn't it? Does make it tough because one week they can have an up week, then they drop off when you get faith in them. So it does make it tricky. It's a bit of rookie lotto. It really is. It's so hard to tell which rookies are going to go well. Honestly, it's a bit of a flip of the coin. I was the same. I had Martin on the bench. Spewing. Benny Butcher, hey, Shorty. Hey, mate, how are you? Good to see you on board again. David, hey, Shorty, hope you're well. Ended up 24.68. Couldn't loot Martin, though. Rank 450. Good stuff. That's awesome, mate. No. And that's a great way to start the year, even without Martin. You obviously shot on all cylinders there really nicely. So well done there, mate. Foxy's a duckhead. Should I flip Ward for Rochelle? If you mean trade, probably not. I hope you had Rochelle in for the whole time. If you're talking about who to field, yeah, I'd field Rochelle. But, yeah, I think I have faith in Ward, but I definitely think you need Rochelle. That's for sure. Thanks to everyone who's joined. We are getting those numbers up there nicely. So great to see some regulars, familiar faces, new questions as well as a few people I don't reckon I've seen their name for a little bit. So it's good to see. If you're enjoying the live feed, give us a little thumbs up. Give us a little subscribe if you haven't been on board just yet. But as we always say, love your support, whether you've been around for 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 years. Shorty's all about it. So, and the voice is holding up relatively well. Surprising. Oh, Langers is here. What's going on, mate? Hello, Daniel. What a wonderful weekend we had. Nice sharing a bed with you. Oh, I said don't make me laugh earlier. I can't deal with it. Oh, you're a funny man. Full disclosure, yes. Me and Langers did share a bed. There was a pillow in between us. Pretty sure he tried to grab my ass throughout the night. So, did I push his hand away? Don't know. Oh, he says more. Anyway, how soon would you be making rookie corrections? And is Rowell a must trade him before a price rise? Nah, thanks, mate. It was a nice weekend. Oh, it was great to be back at the footy, mate. How exciting was it just that Carlton game? Holy shit. I think we all lost our voice after that one. So exciting. I'll be waiting till after round 2. I mean, Hayes is probably a good example for many. I guess Nick Martin, they're probably the 2 real big talking points. I'd just wait till after round 2 to just give a bigger sample size, mate. And with the Rowell one, I would say if you can get him in without throwing the baby out with the bathwater, I think that'd be good. Again, let's see what he does next week. I wouldn't go chasing it. And I wouldn't sort of really throw around. I wouldn't do something you don't want to do just to get him in. If it works, if it works out all right and you can, I don't know, say theoretically you went, you go, shit, maybe I'll go crisp down to Hewitt and I've got 180k left, and okay, I can probably go Ward to Rowell. Maybe you do something like that if the maths checks out. But I wouldn't sort of go, oh crap, I've got Jack Steele, man, I've got to get Matt Rowell in. So I wouldn't do anything crazy. But thanks for the question, Langers. He's a good man. Global Sports Card Investor. It looks like we might be getting some defender rookies this week from Port. Yes, it does sound that. Obviously, Aliir's out for some time. Probably bring Sam Skinner into the picture. Am I right in saying that? And I'm thinking Josh Sin you might be referring to as well, sort of being in the mix. So that could be exciting, and that'd be much needed, wouldn't it? Oh, there we go. Shano reckons Sam Skinner comes in for Port, shorty. There you go. Yeah, I think from all reports, it does seem likely, and that'd be an absolute godsend, wouldn't it? That'd be fantastic. So fingers crossed, my friend. That'd be fantastic if he was. Flicker, your number one pick each position. Oh, gosh. Well, if you mean who is like my number one must-have across each positions, Dunkley down forward or up forward. Midfield, I think McRae. But even from my own personal team, I think Cripps is looking like a really great option so far. I think Grundy just looked back to his best. Bit of a slow start, but he really worked into it well. And down back, I think, George Hewitt looks just a fantastic price. I ended up moving him out and bringing Rowell in. And it was a win on both fronts, but would have been great to have both. And I might correct that, just depending how round 2 goes. But look, Jaden Short, I felt looked really, really good on what was a tough day for the Tigers. He didn't have too much of the ball in the second half, still managed to score well. He just looks like such an easy scoring player this year. So many kicks, so many kick-outs. He's looking good. Noah says, Tommy Green, ? And Tommy Green's running hot for Ream. I'm just gonna jot a couple of these things down because I'll do the weekend preview. It's just good to have an idea of what you guys are sort of thinking. So thank you very much. What else am I doing? Rowell was a bit of a talking point. Good stuff. To answer your question, not yet. I think he's been mentioned a few times. I feel like he's a guy that is just born to be a SuperCoach scorer at some stage. Do you have the cojones to go and jump on him just yet? Is it a hot start? Will he cool off? Is it risky? Bats deep in the Giants midfield. I probably won't be jumping all over him just yet. I'm happy to sort of see how it evolves, but it wouldn't shock me. It would not shock me if he just made that leap to premium, because I think we've been waiting for it. So he looked great, and I think he's a likely type. Loves it on the inside, doesn't he? Aaron, hey, Shorty, assuming you're well, I've been looking into potentially starting up a YouTube channel. Do you use OBS? Hey, mate. No, I'm going all right, thanks. How are you? I actually don't. I know my mate Jeremy was suggesting this. Technology is not my strong suit. So if you got any ideas as to how I can do it better, I'd love to hear it. But definitely, if you want to start a YouTube channel, mate, absolutely. Yeah, what are you thinking footy? Thinking footy, mate? No, if you do get it going, mate, I'll happily give you a shout out. Just to get those subs sort of rolling through. I know when I first started, very helpful when people could give you a bit of love early on just to get the ball rolling. So, let us know. Craig, hey Shorty, mate, how are you? Hope you're well. Arya's on here too. What's happening? Yo, Shorty, this is my team. Where are you? I'm going to have to just scroll a little bit just to let me have a look at you. What are my priority trades? I would say at the moment your number one thing would be just monitoring how Berry goes, I think. But otherwise, like I've said with a few people, just wait and see what round 2 brings you. It's not time to hit the panic button just yet. Stay away from that trade button. Let's just give it 2 weeks. Then we can make a well-rounded assessment. But I love your work. That looked like a pretty solid team for me. So good stuff. Shano really is the one I'm most concerned about. Hopefully improves this week. Yeah, look, I don't know. He just a touch off, wasn't he? Playing a bit of time forward in the fourth quarter didn't help. That's for sure. Thug life. Far out. Luke McDonald going to be top 6 back this year after round 6. Yeah, that's could be a very interesting point. He looked back to that year where he averaged, was it 112 or something? Watson? I haven't got to your question. Shuts up, Mackenzie. Put your pants on. What's up? You said get your pants off. I hope they can't hear you. What's going on?
No, I was going to ask you my question. Let's get the cue. Should I get Reece Matson in? He's best on the VFA.
No. I can't just skip the cue.
I did just skip the cue. That's the question for me.
No.
No, why not?
Beast mode's trash,
mate.
Give
me the score. Give everyone else.
I don't think he's got any reliability in the midfield, and he's a shit price.
Yeah, fair enough, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. Thanks, Jack. Yeah. Anyone else live with shit roommates? Nah, they're all right. Shit, what was I talking about? Yeah, Lukey McDonald, he looked back to some really good defensive numbers, didn't he? So watch this space. Craig, is Petrarca a must-have in your opinion? Oh, he looked great, and as you guys would have known, he was in my team for much of the preseason. I ended up just going a bit safer with your Clayton Oliver, Jack McRae. I think he will definitely be a guy that we bring into the team. He tends to have a little bit more fluctuation in his scores. Like he'll have weeks like last week, but he also is capable of an 80. You know, he can just have 8 clangers, kind of thing some days. But no, I think he's a guy we'll get into our team at some stage, mate. Max, what do I do with Ridley? Hold or go to Hewitt or Sicily, and do I try it and get Rowell in? Nah, hold, mate. Hold for now. I'm going to be standing like a broken record, so apologies, guys. But hold. Hold these premiums. Hold Crisp. Hold Ridley. Keep the faith. If similar happens, then yeah, fair enough. I think Hewitt's going great. Sicily's going great. It could make you some coin, could help you elsewhere. I'll get the thinking. But just for now, let's wait. And like I said, get Rowell in if it doesn't throw your team out. Don't throw shit everywhere just to bring him in. But if you can, without throwing the baby out with the bathwater, fair call. Craig, did you get on Stengel? I missed the boat. Do you think it's worth trading him in as a get rid of Kelly for the Pies? No, don't get Stengel, mate. He was great, and he's going to be awesome for the Cats. He will be great, but he'll be so inconsistent. He's not that cheap. I think he's, 270 something? Awesome player. So stoked to have him at the Cats, but no, he'll have days where he kicks 4. He'll have days where he has 8, 9 touches and just struggles to get in the game. So now hold off for the minute, mate, but he's going to be crucial for the Cats. And Craig also says, I got 2209 in SuperCoach. Do you think it's a good starting score and had Steele as captain? Yeah, I think, look, the main thing, if you scored 2200, if you scored 2400, as long as you've got most of the guys that we need, and if you don't, we can get him in after round 2. So that's nothing wrong with that, mate. It's a good starting point. What the fuck do you want, Jack? Whoa, shit. Whoa. Sorry, guys. Holy shit. Whoa. What? Oh, did he? And Willie, what are you looking at me for? What are you looking at? Say something. Come in, Jonah. And Willie Rioli got off. How fucked is that? Rezzy's footballer coming in. Where you going, bro?
Nah.
Not
even that.
Nah. You got a bird coming over, did you say?
Yeah, she's 40.
Oh, yeah, Jonah's into the older women now.
Better than 18, bro.
Oh! What the fuck? Anyway, let's straighten up. Oh, boy. Where are we up to? Craig, do you have Jack Hayes, shorty? I don't, mate. I don't. I tossed and turned, and honestly, I didn't think either Dixon or Hayes would score amazing, and I just opted for what I felt was better job security. And then Jack Hayes came out and looked like Polly Farmer, looked like Dean Cox. It was unbelievable, taking marks left, right, and centre, kicking goals. So no, he looks like a likely auto rookie correct for me after round 2.
I'm just here to listen in.
Okay, man. Okay, this is a pretty professional setup, though, man. So if you're going to come in with no pants on, that's just weird.
Yeah, to prove to everyone that I do indeed have pants on, they're shorts. There we go.
Blessed. How you going, mate? Tom Stewart or Aaron Hall if Crisps gives another dud score after round 2? I'll go Tommy Stewart, mate. I think he's safe as houses. Aaron Hall, also a really good option, but I just think durability-wise, they're both guns. I'd just opt for Tom Stewart. You want to keep it down out there, Jay? Yeah, just keep it down, bro, if you could. Hayden, stuck with 6.
Is one of the toughest players in the NFL.
Jack, a passionate Brisbane man. He's filthy on Robbo. Well, not filthy on Robbo. He's filthy on the tribunal, I think. Hayden, stuck with the 6 premium defenders down back. Wow. Crisp, Rich, Ridley, and Whitfield. Yikes. Goodness me. That's big time. I hope they respond for you, mate. I reckon they will. I'm backing them in. So just hold the faith, and they should be right. But if they don't respond, then, yeah, we've got a couple of headaches there to deal with. Cal, do you think De Goey is worth having in the forward line as a risky POD? I wouldn't jump at the chance. He did look really good. I wouldn't be jumping at it, put it that way. But I think you're better off, setting your sights on Taranto or Duncan, who looks likely to come back this week and that type of thing. So not just yet, but if he starts stringing together some really good games continuously, then all of a sudden we might have to stand up and listen. Junior, problem with Ward and Conor McDonald is that the Hawks will need to squeeze in McAvoy, Day, Impey, Bruce into the team over the next couple of weeks. Job security, a big issue. Dropped to Box Hill, a Hawk reg event. Yeah, look, mate, that's a good point. I suppose, Bruce up forward, Day, Impey down back, McAvoy probably a floater between forward and ruck. So at least it's not directly affecting the midfield, but you're right. Sometimes it's not always like for like, and they can potentially be on the chopping block. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But, yeah, hopefully they just keep their spot this week. Hopefully can have a good performance and lock themselves in and make us some money. But we'll cross the fingers on that one. And here is Jack Watson. Hello, Dognil. Should I put in Reece Matheson? Best on in the VFL. Well, Jack, if you're still listening, no. No, you should not, my friend. But appreciate the question. We watching some footy after this, mate? Watch first quarter of the Cats and last quarter of the Lions. A Prize Gaming. Thoughts on getting rid of Baldwin to Martin? Yeah, I would do that, mate. I think Martin's a must-have. Baldwin just probably not an ideal day to be a tall forward of the Bombers, particularly on debut. So, yes, I would get him Martin if you can. Tyler, when Rada took the big hit from Draper, almost ran on to show him some true strength. I know, that was right in front of us too. I was like, come on, Sammy, you loose unit. Can't be doing that. Surprised he didn't actually cop a week, or at least sort of a bit more about it. But, yeah, anyway. Jonas, 0 trades this week, but I'm prepared to make 3 next week to set the season up. What is your strategy, Shorty? Yeah, I tend to agree, mate. I won't be making trades this week. And, yeah, let's not forget, like you say, we got a trade boost. So anyone who's sort of worried about, not wanting or not to have enough trades after round 2 in the 1 week, you can use your trade boost and you can go bang with 3 trades. So, yeah, let's just stay tuned. And I think I'll be similar. Correctional trades after round 3. Sorry, after round 2. So that should be quite interesting. Now we've got Conor McDonald. He's spelled differently. For a sec, I thought I could have just asked you, mate. I could have asked you how your job security is down at the Hawks. But he says, I put Lipinski and Sicily in for Berry and Crisp after round 1. You reckon I overreacted? Yeah, look, Berry, I can understand your thinking. I was never massive on him. Lipinski looked amazing. I wouldn't jump ship on Crisp. I would continue to be faithful to him, at least for 1 more week. But like I said, happy to give it another week, see how we go, and then you can go for it after that. And Derek, how are you, mate? Great to see you again. He says, great to have footy back, scored 2,200, hope for better next week. Go the Swannies. Yeah, I'm similar, mate. I was around that same mark, and I feel like it feels like you're miles off in the rankings, but you're actually not. It's honestly, it's about 200 points equals about 40,000 rankings. So get a good far out. I'm struggling tonight. Get a good week this week, and you'll be back. Lukaku, thoughts on Houston? Nah, he's not for me, mate. I know he had a good week, and he's often teased. If you look at his stats last year, bit of a yo-yo sometimes. I think he's very capable, but not interested, unfortunately, mate. But I have seen his name mentioned a couple of times. Matt McKenna, how are you, mate? He goes, Trelaw, get him out to bank cash. I'm sounding like a broken record, guys. Give him one more week. He probably didn't use the ball as well as he would have liked. But if you've started with him, give him another week. I know he's a bit down. You're not alone out there. There's a few primos that were down. So if you got your Ridleys, you got your Crisps, you got your Steels, you got your Trelaws, just hold faith, give him one more week. Sean, is it worth making huge changes, maybe 2 to 3 trades just to get Lipinski? No, it's not. Like I said with Raul, and we can throw Lipinski in there too, don't go crazy. If you miss the boat, you miss the boat. Unless you feel like you're an absolute must-have. Because let's face it, is Lipinski going to be a guy we keep all year? Probably not. So I don't think if you didn't start with him, it is what it is. You can't have them all. So I wouldn't burn 2 or 3 trades just to get him in. Noel, I think Rochelle is the real deal. What a player. We'll love having him until the buys. Problem is, I will have to watch Adelaide if I want to watch him. Yeah. Yes, I know, mate. He does. He looks a star. 5 goals. Gee, we had some debuts on the weekend. It was crazy. And I must admit, I really didn't think, a small forward in a poor team could just come out and kick 5. Sensational stuff, though. The Dankfish, short fish, 69. What is going on, lad? I scored a par this week, 22.80. Plenty to build off, though. Yes, mate. We are one and the same there, my friend. Very similar. Nothing to go too crazy off for week 1, but the pieces of the puzzle are there. We'll build, mate. We'll build. Reid Patterson, do you think Hall is a good selection? I do, mate. If you got him, I think he's fine. Obviously, great return. He was touch and go for round 1, I felt, for a while there, but he looked great. He's one of their main rebounders. So if you got him, good stuff. Joey, if Whitfield is out, what do you do? I have Gibcus and DeConning on the pine. I think if Whitfield is out, it makes it real awkward. I think Hewitt is probably the guy. Your other alternative would be to just try and find 30 or 40K, and maybe you don't have Short. Maybe you think Dawson could be an option. I'm really hoping he's right. I really do think Whitfield's a good selection, but his body does get us, doesn't it? The one saving grace is that basically every man and his dog has him. So if he falls, we'll all fall together. Oliver, should I trade Hugo Ralph-Smith out or keep him? I'd trade him out, mate. He only really got game time because Prestia went off early and didn't really set the world on fire anyway. So, yeah, I think trade him out. Go. I wouldn't do it just yet this week. See what happens and see what's the best option after round 2. It might be Brody. It might be Cherry. It might be all the way down to Martin or Rochelle or Hayes. Whoever you don't sort of have. Martin, if I didn't say him. So, see how you go. Noel also says, is Whitfield long-term or short-term? Going to have to get a bit more info on this one, mate. So I'm not too sure, but we'll wait and see. We should probably know in a day or 2, I reckon. So fingers crossed. Flick, have a good one. You too, mate. Thanks for joining in. The 9, can the Cats stop Bud kicking 4? I'd be surprised if he kicked 4, to be honest. Buddy's actually never really torn us up over the journey. He's always been consistent for 2 or 3, but yeah, that'd be crazy. His next game is in Melbourne too. So it'd be great if he kicked like 2 or 3. Then us Victorians could just run onto the field. That'd be a bit of fun. Harry, worth trading in Rochelle and or Martin? Absolutely, mate. Well, I think probably hold off till next week, get a bit better of a feel for your team. But yeah, I think we're going to need them. I think we're going to need them in our team for sure. Placey, hey Shorty, how are the good options? Who are the good options if Berry is out? Thinking Lipinski and Caldwell. Yeah, look, it's a little bit sideways for mine. Honestly, if Berry was out, I'd almost be inclined to go down to a rookie, mate. pocket some cash. I just think those sideways trades, and I just feel like Lipinski and Caldwell, they're not exactly as they have high hopes, more so Lipinski, but I don't know if we can bank on them. So yeah, wait and see what happens. But I'd almost be inclined if a good rookie pops up, in the midfield that we don't already have, could be a handy 130, 140K potentially. But watch this space. Langers, Will Brodie spent 20 minutes on the bench in the fourth quarter. Wow, that's interesting. I remember in the Pracky game he had 68% time on ground. So that's interesting. And it'd be interesting to see. I'm not sure if that was injury affected or not, mate, but it'd be interesting to see. Fife's still got to come back. So, yeah. It's a pretty good points to minutes score then, isn't it? But that doesn't help us. Placey, Owens to Martin, a lock for this round also, I'm thinking. Yeah, look, whether it's this round next, I think you're going to need Martin. And Owens, just didn't sort of set the world on fire, unfortunately. So I think he could be onto that one. Travis, how you going, Shorty? I'm good, mate. What to do with Rosie? Yeah, look, he's an awkward one. He teased us in the preseason and then threw in a stinker. So I'm going to have to continue on with my motto this week. My mantra is hold these guys, see what they do in round 2. But he's got to be pretty vulnerable, mate. He's got to be pretty vulnerable. And it could be he's in that price, could be a downgrade, could be an upgrade, depending on your cash situation. But yeah. Yes, that's it. Yes, interesting, mate. Very interesting indeed, Jake. My name's Jake. Aaron. Cheers, Shorty. I'm good, mate. Yeah, regards to the YouTube channel. I'm hopeless with technology too. Haha, and yes, more than likely SuperCoach content. Appreciate the help. No, that's cool, mate. Look, I'm not here to preach on technology, trust me. But if you got a passion for it, if you love it, I'd just say do it with whatever technology you have. If you've got a phone camera and that's it, just do it off that. Get yourself go down to Kmart, mate. Get a little tripod going and just get started, just get started and you can build the technology up as you go. If you're enjoying it, you want to add some stuff to it, you can. But no, I'd encourage you to do it. Cameron, do your housemates have a SuperCoach team? One of them, he loves his footy but doesn't do SuperCoach. The other is more into draft. So we're in a draft league. So Watto, who walked in before and is often shows his face in here, he's in the draft. Bad Machine. Hi, Shorty. 2,314, 611K in the bank. Boom. Think Crisp can be fixed with a swap. Rids can't. Lions are going to chop them up so bad this week. Will be called in. Flick him for CJ and Ward if injured. Shift Lipinski and bring Heaney in. Wow, mate. What do you reckon? You're doing a lot there, my friend. Goodness me. Look, just cool the Jets, mate. Cool the Jets. I just think give it time. Give it time. Anything could happen. I think Crisp and Ridley just hold fire, see what they do. Let's not do any rage trades just yet. And let's, Ward, I think, wasn't his day, but could be back. So I just think wait and see. It's one round. Like I've stressed with many of you guys out there, we could potentially use 3 trades after round 2 if we want to. So there's no rush. Give it another week. Jono says Mitch Robbo didn't get off. What the fuck? I know. Unbelievable. That's going to be massive talking point tomorrow. How does Willie Rioli get off and Robbo doesn't? Unbelievable. Joe, I dropped 2,400. Boom. Nice. That's great, mate. Well played. That's awesome. Noel's having a chat to Bad Machine. Dayon, opinion on Lipinski. Tempted to go Berry to him. Yeah, it's a little bit sideways for me, mate. I get the hype, I do, but I probably wouldn't jump at it. I don't know if that's... It might be a good short-term trade. I just feel like eventually you'll have to trade Lipinski anyway. I don't think he's going to be a keeper all year. Dunda, Luke McDonald with potential to get DPP as defender. Definitely. The way he was going on the weekend, intercept marks, playing down back, big time. So he's a watch this space, see if he can keep it up because he looked back to that real premium form, didn't he? Guzzy, I dropped a 23.44, but I made one big mistake. I got the average lineup, but I really feel for Taron Thomas. Hype train. because I'm a North fan, so I'm thinking I might have to go straight to Heaney. Yeah, I guess the good thing is they're similarly priced, and the prices ain't changing this week, so we can have another look at them if you think or if you like. But yeah, I think Thomas just uncharacteristic. He was well off, wasn't he? And Global Sports smash that like. Yeah, nice, mate. I reckon, mate. Smash the like. Thanks, man. AFL expert, do you think it's worth trading out Dan Rioli for Hewitt? Dean Rioli. I've already used 2 of my trades, but I've got the cash. Yeah, I don't think Rioli's a guy that we really can rely on for consistency in that. I would probably do that, mate. Like I've been saying, I'll give it 2 weeks, but I must admit I'm not a major Rioli fan for scoring, so I'd probably pull that trigger. Junior, 22.56 with no one or none of Martin, Rochelle, or Hayes on field. Only have 2. Sadly, went Brander over Martin. We'll correct that one otherwise. Yeah, fair, mate. No, that's all right. We got time to correct. There's nothing wrong with that. That's good. Hey, mate. Corey, how you going? Good to see you. Mashed potatoes. Don't know you're the AFL expert. Yeah. Junior. Tom Stewart went to the top of my want list. He looked good and his role looked very SuperCoach friendly. Yeah, nothing's changed there, mate. Nothing's changed. He's as safe as houses, old Tommy Stewart. He's great. Xavier, hey, Shorty, how's it going? Frustrating that I took the gamble on McInerney from the Swans. Hewitt spewing, hopefully bounces back. Yeah, you're right. Look, give it another week, but it might just be an easy exchange for Hewitt, but it is disappointing when you're weighing up between 2 and it's such a difference. But let's hope for your sake he can bounce back. Placey, if Gordon goes similar, would you potentially entertain moving him down to English or Wits and use the extra cash on the rest of your side? I wouldn't, mate. I think that's a bit short-sighted. I do think Gorn will still be a premium and a good premium at that. It might be helpful for cash generation, but I still think you're going to have to try and get Gorn back in at some stage or Sean Darcy, depending how he goes. So I wouldn't recommend it, but I could see some people doing it. Domba, Shorty, if Ward has another bad game in round 2, would you trade him to Nick Martin? Look, I probably would. I mean, I still think Ward will have some really good games. He's a very talented youngster, but if the question, which it is, Nick Martin or Ward, I think if Nick Martin produces anything like he did last week, then we're going to have him in the team. David, hey, mate, how are you? He goes, hey, mate, new sub. Love the podcast. Cheers, mate. Oh, good to have you on board. Thanks very much. Great to hear from you too. Like I always say, it's awesome to have new guys jumping on board and plenty of familiar faces through the live session again, which is awesome. So thanks very much, guys. We'll probably go another 15, 20, sort of around the 10 o'clock mark. So, yeah, thanks for all your questions. Xavier, wasn't a great week for my team, Shorty, with my backline struggling. Luke Ryan, Ridley, and Baker, McInerney, and Whitfield, which frustrated me. Thought Baker had good potential. Hopefully he changes my mind with a very good score, but I can't pick them all, eh? Nah, that's it. And look, all you can do is just swallow the frustration, move on to next week, and hope that, you did plenty of research through the preseason. So back yourself in, stick to your guns. Hopefully they do you right. But no, I'm with you there, mate. I'm looking for a few to respond in the back line for me too. The 9, bruh. I'm hoping he kicks it. Got flights. Nice. Wow, there you go. Are you a Swans man or a Geelong man? Or are you just a footy lover? It'd be awesome, mate. Get those runners on. Get onto the ground when he kicks 1,000. Cameron, looks like Walsh is back for the Blues. Do we wait and see on Blues players to trade in considering Walsh's impact? Wouldn't be a bad idea. It would be really good, to be honest. If Walsh came in this week, it'd be great to have a look at how Hewitt goes with him in the team before prices change. That'd be really handy. But I've got a great deal of confidence in Hewitt's role. I think Voss has made that pretty clear. So, yeah, but wait and see. Ramagar, hey, Shorty. How are you, mate? Good to see you. When are you going to collab with Big J again? The video is fire. Now, I think I will soon. I really enjoyed it, actually. So, can't remember. We probably said it on the camera, but definitely said it off camera. We will do another one. So, yeah, maybe in the first month of the season or maybe before prices change. I'll have to check in with him. So, no, glad you enjoyed it, mate. IP Cripps, he's pumped about him. Good stuff. I was too, mate. I was going off when he was slotting those snags. It was great. Bad Machine, I want a great paying job. where I'm required to repeatedly make shitty decisions with no accountability. Do you know if the AFL Tribunal is hiring? That's good. That's good content. I've told you guys I can't laugh. Otherwise I start coughing. Oh, my God. Oh, you're killing me, bro. That's good, mate. That's good content. And, yeah, I don't know what they were doing tonight. I really don't. Cameron, Shorty, mate. I need your approval. I'm doing Crisp and Berry to Rowell and Sicily. I also didn't want to pick Crisp in the first place, but I felt forced into it on the Thursday because Lloyd missed out. Yeah, I think Lloyd missing out hurt a few of us by going to a Ridley or a Crisp. All I can say, mate, is I'll give it one more week. I know it's easy to look at these week one scores and react to it in that manner, but there's no saying that Sicily comes out and scores 74, Crisp scores 111. You know, I would try and get Rowell in for Berry. I like that. And I know you need the cash by the other one to do the other. But I've been saying it all night, I would back Crispy in to give it another shot. But it's a dilemma. It's a dilemma. Theo's back. What are possible trades to upgrade the bench in coming weeks? Bro, you need help. Get the chickers. You're a gangster, man. Keep up the work. Thanks, mate. You're a good fella. You're always joining in. It's good stuff. What'd you say? What are the possible trades to upgrade the bench? Yeah, look, I just think we're going to have to wait and see what round 2 brings us. But on this early stage, I think you definitely need Martin, Rochelle, and Hayes. You know, they're definitely guys that put their hand up. They're probably in most people's teams. But it could again change. You know, there'll be other players that put their hand up after round 2, which is why I think it's good to hold off to just see what round 2 gives us. Mashed potatoes, yeah, it's good content, eh? Noel, can't wait to see Fox Footy VFL Brigade have an absolute temper tantrum about Willie Rowell getting off. Although he shouldn't have gotten off. Yeah, I know. Now it was a very strange decision. Jared Waitley couldn't believe it, and I think there'll be a lot of talk back radio on that tomorrow. Stuart, do you think Sam Doherty can keep scoring big for Carlton? I do. He wouldn't be at the top of my list to sort of upgrade to. I think he played a great game the other night, but I probably don't see him top 6 defender, but he's a very good player. So, yeah, watch this space. Christopher, hey, Shorty, love seeing you back every year. That's nice to hear. Thanks, mate. What's your views on Luke McDonald? Personally, I'm loving that one, especially when I can drag him back later on. Yeah, I think. And thanks for the kind words, mate. It's always nice to hear that and great to have you back in the questions too, mate. So thank you. Yeah, I think he looked back to that role where he averaged big numbers was a couple of years ago, I think. So that's food for thought. And he will get dual position status if it continues going that way after round 6. So I think he'll prick a few ears up. I think he will. Very SuperCoach friendly role. Shorty's pet fish, Bruce. Look who it is. He's back, mate. The fish is back. James, should I trade out Zach Dawson? Or give him another week? I might make the exception for Zach Dawson. Dunder, Foley, Richards, or Chapman for a cheap defender. I probably wouldn't go either, mate. Any of those. I'd love to know your debate or your debate as to who's going out, because I don't think any of those guys should be coming in, even though they had solid first up weeks. But yeah, and Tom says, gone to Wits. No, hold off. Give it one more week. I know Wits was great, but Gordon gave away a lot of free kicks. He would have turned up easily if he didn't do that. And we always know Wits can score. He was up against, quality player, but still scored well. We'll get a really good test this week because they're up against each other. So watch this space. Ramagar, Shorty, would you like to do a fan YouTuber video down watching the footy sometime? That's not a bad idea. What games do you go to, mate? If you see me floating around, feel free to say g'day. I was definitely thinking of doing like a sort of footy kicker, goal kicking subscriber sort of video. So that might be also a chance too. Pet Fish says, thoughts on Luke McDonald? Well, hopefully you heard what I had to say just before. I think he's looking very dangerous, back to that familiar role. So watch this space. I might need a few weeks of convincing, but the early form suggests very likely to return to that great performance he had a couple of years back, and will get dual position status in 5 weeks' time. Placey, if Crisp stinks it up again, I'm locking Hall in. Was at the North game on the weekend and closely watched him. They just look for him every time as they exit defence. They love the ball in his hands. Yeah, and that's what we love. I was listening to it as well, and almost every time out of the back line, I was like, Hall running past, Hall this, Hall that. He ball magnet. So, no, that's a good point, mate. Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky Man, Shorty, what's your thoughts on Stengel? Thinking of going Rayner to Stengel? Thoughts? No, I wouldn't, mate. I know he'll. I mentioned this before to one fella. He'll have days where he'll kick 4. He'll also have days where he has 8 or 9 touches. So, love having him at the Cats, but I think he's just going to be sort of inconsistent by nature. So, I'd hold off on that one, mate. I'd hold off. I think there might be better options. Let's give it one more week and see what can be thrown up. Caden, should I take Oliver out for Neil? No, definitely not. No, Oliver was okay. I mean, Neil was great, but if you can find a way to get Neil in, I'd do it. But no, let's not trade our premiums for premiums. No, they were both very good. NWM took Lloyd out for Hall after team sheets were announced. Was scared shitless but paid off. Yeah, it's nice when it pays off in that way. Oh, I went Ridley. Kill me. Tyler, do you reckon that because of all the injuries with Port will get a chance, or even Harry Johnson? You nearly got me, mate. I think Sammy Skinner might get a chance. So watch this space, mate. James Pledger, hey, Shorty, have you considered applying for Tom Morris's job? Might just have. You pricks are killing me late in this one. You're killing me. Shorty was a sports journalist once upon a time. Still dabbles in it. Oh, boy. Poor Tommy. That was a shocker, wasn't it? That was a shocker. We're just getting the last few, so I reckon I'll wind up very soon, maybe around 10 o'clock. So thanks very much. If you got any final questions, throw them my way. But if not, chuck us a like, chuck us a subscribe. You know, Shorty loves it. So appreciate your support. Xavier, thanks for the live, Shorty. Love your work and content. Good luck for the week final questions. Thoughts on Rayner being a player to downgrade if he has another stinker? Nah, thanks, mate. Cheers for joining in, and always great to have you on board. Yeah, I would. I'd give him one more, but probably likely trade him out, but let's wait and see. And then it's probably just who bobs their head up out of Brody, Cherry, Martin. Does Hayes go well again? Just wait to see what's on offer. There will be something on offer. Betty Derrick, Shorty, my brother. Whoops, just got moved. My brother, should I try? Yeah. Sorry, I'm with you now. It kept moving with new comments. Shorty, my brother, should I trade Crisp or give him another week? P.S. Big fan of yours, man. Oh, thanks, mate. You're a legend. I appreciate that. No, keep the faith. I'll be doing the same. Let's hope he can bounce back. Super consistent player. I said it before. That was his lowest score since round 12, 2020. So he'll be back. Tomahawk, what do you reckon the move is with Owens? I'd say very likely we just find another rookie. So whichever of the ones that went really well that you don't have, find a way, unless he responds really well this week, but I would say probably likely better rookie options out there. Stuart, Jamara must be pissed off watching all those rookies playing round 1. Was he a bad pick by the Bulldogs? Oh, I'm hesitant to sort of bag him out just yet. He's still young in his career. He showed glimpses. I think let's just wait and see when he plays some consistent footy. I always think it's hard to judge these guys, and just because he's an early pick, we always do. But no, I've got time for him. He's super talented, as we know. So we'll judge him when he gets a fair run at it. But at the moment, I think still a lot to play out. Jonas, Gary Ablett Sr. is the GOAT. Dusty Martin is the horse. Highly overrated star ever. He ain't so good now in the downhill ski roll. Richmond aren't winning. Yeah, look, mate, you don't have to convince me. Cats, man. Those Ablets, mate, right up there. Right up there. No, I agree with you. Martin's the best finals player going around. I can't take that away from him, but Danielle, Shorty, what you reckon about Crisp to Sicily to fund Berry to Lipinski move? It's a popular one, this one. I'm hesitant to do it because it's tricky. I feel like Berry to Lipinski or Rowell or whatever it is a good move. Well, not a bad move, but maybe a touch sideways. But I'd keep Crisp. I'd give him another week. So maybe just hold that trade for one more week and see if it still seems like a really good move come then. And Braden says what to do with rookie Owens. And I just mentioned before, hopefully you heard it. I think it's a matter of just seeing what pops up. There'll be other rookies, but there are probably other options that will go better than him. Just a matter of identifying that next week, mate. They'll show themselves. There might be one you missed out on or could be better. So, yeah, go about that. Oh, sorry, boys. Sorry, guys. I'm losing my voice here. We'll just do these last couple of fellas. Jono, the Packies are 1 for 35. Nice. Early wicket for the Aussies. That's good. Jonas, Dusty doesn't tackle or chase, just relies on teammates doing all the hard work. Michael Hibbert beats him every time because he actually stays on his man. Yeah, look, Dusty's a beautiful finisher, but yeah, doesn't lay many tackles, does he? He really doesn't. Caden should upgrade Ward to Horn Francis. I'd say probably at this stage. I think Horn Francis is probably a better scorer. I'm not writing Ward off. I think you could definitely have both of them, but Horn Francis is probably more lockable, if that's a word. Tyler, what do you think? Come on, Tyler, you bloody pest, mate. Carlo, what to do with Ward, keep or trade? Hold him for now, mate. It was only a week ago that he was one of the Hawks' best with 20-odd, I think it's 29 touches, so hold the faith. He could come back and ton up this week. So not his best start, but keep the faith. James killed it. Thanks again, brother. Thanks, mate. No, you're a good man. Thanks for joining in. And Ben, thoughts on new SuperCoach name, Flamin' Hot Machito? I like it, mate. I like it. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. I think, honestly, I didn't think I'd get through about an hour and a half the way I was traveling today. So it's great to have you guys on board. Thanks, Tyler. Nice, mate. Yeah, when he kicks a bag, mate, I'll be thinking of you. Hopefully it's this week, eh? But thanks heaps for jumping on board, guys. It's always awesome. We're hovering around the 60, 70 mark for most of the night. So that's awesome. I really appreciate you guys jumping in. Excuse for or apologies for the coughing every now and then, but shit, you guys made me laugh a couple of times and couldn't help it. So I'm going to sit on the couch, get myself a soother, try and get a good night's sleep. Hopefully I'll wake up all right. I'll be back off the tape. So going to wrap it up. Thanks, Jono. No, I appreciate that, mate. Enjoy the cricket, mate. I might check it out as well. But we'll wrap it up there, and I'll talk to you all soon. We got footy tips tomorrow night coming out, and I'll do the weekend preview. It'll come out on Thursday probably. So, yeah, look forward to talking to you all then. Cheers.